Bullying, presented by Faith Graves, Mallory Majors, and Paula Hickerson. Bullying. Bullying is an unwanted, aggressive, or passive behavior among school-age children that involves a real or perceived power imbalance. Styles of bullying. Physical involves hitting, stealing, pushing, or tripping. Emotional/verbal can be name-calling, mocking, threatening, or taunting. Social includes leaving someone out on purpose, spreading rumors, or telling others to not be one's friend. Cyberbullying involves social media, text messages, or emails. Physical. Physical bullying is defined as the use of physical actions to intimidate and gain control over a target. 6% male versus 4% female are the statistics for physical bullying. This has an impact on teachers by an uneven balance in the classroom, struggling to discipline students when absent or execute school policies, finding the root cause of the violence and or action, implementing ways to prevent the bullying. Emotional or verbal. Emotional verbal bullying is defined as when a person tries to get what they want by making others feel angry or afraid or by using words to mock, shock, and tease. 18% female versus 9% male are the statistics for emotional or verbal bullying. This has an impact on teachers by students shutting down in their learning, low self-confidence, harder to identify emotional distress in students, harder to establish student-teacher relationships. Implementing ways to prevent the emotional or verbal bullying are harder due to being unseen. They are not visibly there. Social. Social bullying is defined as the use of various means to destroy or damage someone's social relationships. Of those who report being bullied, 13% were the subject of rumors and 5% were excluded from activities on purpose. This has an impact on teachers by having limited control over students' personal lives, not always having concrete evidence to discipline students involved, and difficult to enforce policies because each scenario is different and hard to prove this kind of bullying. Cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is defined as the use of electronic communication to bully a person, typically by sending messages of an intimidating or threatening nature. The type of cyberbullying tends to differ by gender. Girls were most likely to say that someone spread rumors about them online, while boys were most likely to say that someone threatened to hurt them online. This has an impact on teachers by students shutting down in their learning, low self-confidence. It can be difficult to implement and regulate policies because of professionalism, and it can be hard to identify and prevent cyber attacks with such a wide range of platforms that can be used.
Where students get bullied. The hallways or stairwells, 43%. The classroom, 42%. The cafeteria, 26%. Outside on the school grounds, 21%. Online or text, 15%. Bathroom or locker rooms, 12%. And somewhere else in the building is 2%. Approximately 46% of students aged 12 through 18 who were bullied during the school year notified an adult at school about the bullying. How does bullying impact students? Students who experience bullying are at an increased risk for depression, anxiety, sleep difficulties, lower academic achievement, and dropping out of school. Students who are both targets of bullying and engage in bullying behavior are at greater risk for both mental health and behavioral problems than students who only bully or are only bullied. Bullying also impacts a student's work ethic, self-confidence, and self-love. For example, rumors and name-calling can make that person feel degraded. That particular student can start believing those negative remarks about themselves. How does bullying impact families? Families of students who have been bullied are at an increased risk for feeling depression, helplessness, fear, agitation, anger, anxiety, and powerlessness. There is a strong association between bullying and suicide-related behaviors, but this relationship is often mediated by other factors, including depression, violent behavior, and substance abuse. Families will be severely affected if faced with these potential outcomes of bullying. How does bullying impact an administration? Bullying can affect administration because they are the face of the school and are the ones who have to answer to parents. They are typically the ones to blame in bullying situations. They create the school's policies, and the faculty have to implement those plans. Are their policies effective? Are they non-effective? If parents are not satisfied with the administration's involvement in prevention of bullying or the way they handle an incident, then the parents can leave reviews about the school or administration, which can affect the enrollment numbers for the following year.
Oklahoma anti-bullying laws. Oklahoma statute annotated Title 21, Section 48-1190, hazing. Hazing is any situation that was created with the intent of humiliating, endangering, harassing, or ridiculing someone, and in the state of Oklahoma, it is illegal. Title 70, Section 8-104, emergency transfers. This law basically states that in an emergency situation such as extreme bullying, a student with the help of their guardian can transfer to a different school with a written application. Title 70, Section 24-100, School Safety and Bullying Prevention Act. This is Oklahoma's big law concerning bullying. The slides that follow cover specific parts of this act, but its main purpose is to create a safe, anti-bullying environment in Oklahoma schools. According to Section 4 of this act, harassment, intimidation, and bullying means any gesture, written or verbal expression, or physical act that a reasonable person should know will harm another student, damage another student's property, place another student in reasonable fear of harm to the student's person, or damage to the student's property, or insult or demean any student or group of students in such a way as to disrupt or interfere with the school's educational mission or the education of any student. In Section 4 of this act, school districts are required to adopt a policy that states how incidents of bullying will be dealt with and how students are expected to act in schools. Districts should make an effort to include teachers, students, and parents in their development of their policy, and once the policy has been developed, districts are required to notify every teacher, student, and any guardian of the policy. In Section 5 of this act, each public school in Oklahoma is required to establish a safe school committee that has at least 7 members. Members of this committee should include teachers, guardians, students, and school officials, and administrators, school staff, school volunteers, community members, and local law enforcement can be members of this committee. The goal of this committee is to assist the board in planning, implementing, and evaluating effective prevention, readiness, and response strategies. In Section 6 of this act, victims of felony offenses and the victim's siblings have the right to be separated from the offender at school and during transport. In Section 7 of this act, districts may, but are not required to, provide school-wide training to all students in grades 7th through 12th addressing suicide and drug awareness and prevention. If districts decide to provide such training, the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services will provide free curriculum for the training.
Do Oklahoma anti-bullying laws and regulations cover cyberbullying that occurs off campus? They do not cover these instances of cyberbullying. Do Oklahoma anti-bullying laws and regulation include protection for specific groups? Oklahoma does not provide any specific protection. Do Oklahoma anti-bullying laws and regulations encourage or require districts to implement bullying prevention programs or strategies? Oklahoma laws do require schools to implement bullying prevention programs. Do Oklahoma anti-bullying laws and regulations encourage or require districts to train teachers and other school staff on how to respond to bullying incidents? They do require teachers to receive training in preventing, identifying, responding to, and reposting bullying. Do Oklahoma anti-bullying laws and regulations encourage or require districts to provide safeguard or mental health supports for students involved with bullying? Oklahoma laws do require school districts to have strategies in place for referral services, guidance, and academic intervention for targets of bullies and their families. Do Oklahoma anti-bullying laws and regulations involve parents in efforts to address bullying behavior? The laws do require that school boards to make an effort to involve teachers, parents, administrators, school staff, school volunteers, community representatives, local law enforcement agencies, and students in developing bullying policies.
Warning and cautions for teachers. Teachers need to know their students and be able to recognize behaviors that are abnormal. Teachers need to diligently create a safe and respectful classroom environment. Teachers need to strictly enforce anti-bullying policies. Teachers should be involved in the creation of anti-bullying policies in their school by joining the Safe School Committee, and they should have a plan of action in place to address bullying in their classroom.